All right, everybody. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. I am Christopher Bell, certified public accountant, long-term boglehead investor, author of the book Stop Being a Broke Loser. It's on Amazon for $3. I know, I'm exploiting you. And hater of trash financial advice on YouTube. Now today we're going to pivot, and instead of talking trash about stupid YouTubers like me, Kevin, Jeremy Lefebvre, Chris Sane, we're going to go over college 529 plans. Now I want to reiterate this, or I want to impart on you the importance of actually consulting a tax advisor or a plan administrator in your state. Because what I'm going to go through now is a brief overview that was put out by the Securities and Exchange Commission that kind of explains what a 529 plan is. It's basically a tax advantage college savings plan. But you can't rely on what I'm showing you right now to fully understand all the implications of contributing to these plans, because there's a ton of different rules that go into these. I just want to give you a brief overview of kind of what these plans can do for you. But if you want to start investing in one, you need to actually look at your state-specific plan, contact anybody at the state administrative office, and really get a good understanding of how these plans work. I'm not your tax advisor, okay? Yes, I'm a CPA, but I am not your specific tax advisor. So please use other materials and do other research before you actually decide to invest in one of these plans for your children or whatever. So I downloaded a Word document from the Securities and Exchange Commission, and we're going to look at that now, and we're going to go through it, and we're going to talk about what a 529 plan is. And this is very important because you want to start saving for your child's future, for their elementary school, secondary school, if you want to pay for a private school, and their college. You want to start saving now, or even before they're born, because pretty soon they're going to be 17 or 18, and they're going to get accepted into college. They're going to be like, "Daddy, did you save any money?" And you'll be like, "Well, I lost it all in Bitcoin, I'm sorry." But if you start saving now, you'll actually set your kid up and prevent them from actually going into massive student loan debt. Okay? So you should really consider one. Let's go check it out. Oops. So I pulled up a Word document. I downloaded this from the Securities and Exchange Commission. And this is an introduction. It's just an introduction to 529 plans. I know it's a lot of text, so I try to highlight it so you wouldn't get bored. And if my camera freezes up, I'm sorry. I have this freaking issue where my camera always freezes up when I film these videos with OBX. Pisses me off, but whatever. So let's start off. What is a 529 plan? It is a tax advantage, which is good, savings plan designed to encourage saving for future educational costs. There are two types of 529 plans. You have prepaid tuition plans, where you basically pay tuition, you buy credits up front for your kid, or educational savings plans, where you actually invest money into an investable account. You pick index funds, whatever you want to buy, and you're saving specifically to pay tuition in the future. So there's differences between the two of them, which we'll talk about. But those are kind of the options you have. But you need to check specifically with your state, whatever plan you use. So these 529 plans are available in all 50 states, or at least they sponsor one 529 plan, according to the SEC. So I trust the SEC. I trust them more than me, Kevin, and Jeremy Lefebvre. All right, so here is a little bit more detail on prepaid tuition plans. This is one of the options you can choose when you elect to start saving for your child's future. Now, me personally, my child was born 4 days ago, and I've already been saving money for his college. I put in $50 a month into index funds, and by the time he's 18, there's probably going to be enough money there to pay for maybe, some, not private school, but like community college and maybe like a cheap state school, okay? So you should start saving now. Don't freaking wait until the last minute. So prepaid tuition plans, you purchase units or credits at participating colleges and universities for future tuition and mandatory fees at current prices. Prepaid tuition plans cannot be used to pay for future room and board, you need to know that, at colleges and universities, and do not allow you to prepay tuition for elementary and secondary schools. So these plans actually do allow you to withdraw money you put into it for elementary school and secondary schools. But for specifics, you want to consult your plan administrator if you start investing in these. So most prepaid tuition plans are sponsored by state governments. This is not a federal thing, and have residency requirements for the saver. Some of them do. they are not guaranteed by the federal government. So you want to be careful. So if you're buying prepaid tuition credits and something happens with the university or the custodian, there is the potential that you could lose all your money. Now, I personally don't use the prepaid tuition. I don't really know where my kid's going to freaking go. I prefer the educational savings plan, but it's all up to you, okay? So you can read some of the things here. You may lose all your money in the plan if the sponsor has financial shortfall. It's possible. If a beneficiary doesn't attend a participating college, the prepaid tuition plan may pay less than if the beneficiary attended a participating college or university. All right, it's just a lot of details. If you choose to invest in one of these, you need to talk to your plan administrator and ask as many questions as you can about how all this stuff works, because you don't want to be investing in this and then, I missed it, and then you lose all your freaking money or you did the wrong thing. It's very important you're careful. Now, I use the educational savings plan, which allows a saver, like me, I'm a saver, open an investment account, I like investments, to save for the beneficiary's future qualified higher education expenses, tuition, fees, and room and board, okay? The other one, it looks like you can only buy tuition up front. But in this other plan, in educational savings plans, it looks like you can save for tuition, mandatory fees, and room and board. It's beautiful, right? Withdrawals can generally be used at any college or university, including sometimes at non-U.S. colleges and universities. Educational savings plans may also be used to pay up to $10,000 per year for elementary and secondary schools. So if you want to send your kid to a private school, I'm not. But if you do, then, you can actually use these plans to pay for those as well. Now, we'll eventually get into the tax advantages of these plans, because the only reason you would invest in this is for tax advantages. If you didn't get tax advantages, why would you invest your money in it? Unless you wanted to prepay tuition. But that's the main draw, which you'll see in a little bit. All right, so when you have these educational savings plans, it depends on your state, but they're going to offer you some investment products. It's going to depend on each state, it seems like. I live in Virginia, and I got a Virginia 529 plan, and they had a couple index funds. They had a total U.S. and a total international. That's what I'm putting my money into. Doesn't mean you have to, but each state might be different. And you want to be really careful because some states might have investment options that are high fees, and you don't want to be paying high fees because they're going to screw you over, all right? So they may have mutual funds, ETFs, they may have target date portfolios. It all really depends on your risk tolerance, what you want to put your money into, but it's going to be specific for each state. So you want to really keep that in mind. All right, all educational savings plans are sponsored by state governments, but only a few have residency requirements for the saver or beneficiary. State governments do not guarantee investments, and they are not federally guaranteed. So if you start investing in a 529 plan and you do the educational savings account, you're literally investing in ETFs or mutual funds. And I don't know if you knew this, ladies and gentlemen, stocks go down. And they can go down for a long, long time. Even the ETF that I worship, VT can go down. It's full of stocks. It's every stock in the world, roughly, in that ETF. Stocks can have terrible bear markets, and they can lose massive amounts of money very quickly. So if you're getting close to your kid going to college and you've been contributing to one of these, well, you may want to consider maybe putting some of those into cash, maybe some of your money in cash or short-term bonds. It's up to you, but these are not guaranteed by the government. You can lose a lot of money, and if you're 100% stock right before your kid goes to college and there's a crash, you might be SOL there, buddy-o. What fees and expenses will I pay if I invest in the 529 plan? Well, it really depends on your state. Fees and expenses will vary based on the type of 529 plan. Prepaid tuition plans. Prepaid tuition plans may charge an enrollment application fee and ongoing administrative fees. You really want to hone in on what fees are being charged. Now, from my understanding, but you want to confirm with your state administrators, that you can open a 529 plan in basically any state. These things are very complex, but you might be able to choose the 529 plan that offers the best benefits and the lowest fees and use that plan. But before you do that, you really want to consult an administrator to really understand what you can invest in and how that affects what colleges your kids can go to. Now, educational savings plans, looks like there's a lot more fees involved. You could have enrollment application fees, annual account maintenance fees, ongoing program management fees, and ongoing asset management fees. That's why, because I'm investing in an education savings plan, I'm picking index funds because I know I'm being charged fees because you got to pay the fees, But I want to keep those fees to a minimum because they will eat away at your returns in the long run. But if you want to put your money in actively managed funds, you go right ahead. I mean, I'm not going to tell you where to put your money. All right, they may also charge sales loads. That's an upfront or back-end sales charge, which is horrible. Or charges at the time of investment or redemption and ongoing distribution fees. Sounds like actively managed funds there. All right, fee savings tips. Okay, basically index funds, but you need to consult your plan administrator for that. How does investing in a 529 plan affect federal and state income taxes? This is the key. Like I said, you're not going to invest in these plans if there's no tax advantages. It's all about taxes, okay? If it's a Roth IRA, a 401k, whatever, taxes, 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 taxes. That's what these are all about. You want to save money on taxes. So, investing in a plan may offer savers special tax benefits. Benefits vary depending on the state and the 529 plan. Now, I believe in Virginia, don't quote me, but I think you're able to deduct a certain amount of contributions into the plan from your Virginia state tax return. We'll see. I just started contributing to it. But that may not be the case in another state. Some states may not offer any benefits at all, or at least state benefits up front for you to contribute. It depends on your state. Laws may affect 529's plans could change. That's also another risk, okay? You may start investing in one when there's great benefits and then your state spends too much money on communism or whatever, and then they have to get rid of the tax benefits to help out communists. I don't know. Things can change. All right. Key thing, consult a tax advisor. All right. These things can be really complicated. You need to be really, really careful with these things. But if you do it right, you can save some money on taxes when you're saving for your kids' college. Contributions may include deducting contributions from state income tax, that's my state, I believe, or matching grants, depending on the state. Savers may only be eligible for these benefits if you invest in a 529 plan sponsored by your state of residence. Like I said, I believe you can actually invest in other plans, but you're not going to get that tax benefit for your state, depending on the state, if you invest in another state's plan. That's how it is, okay? Consult your plan administrator. Withdrawals. If you use 529 account withdrawals for qualified higher educational expenses, earnings in the 529 account are not subject to federal income tax and in many cases state income tax. Now that's freaking huge, okay? Because if you start saving for your kids' college and you just have it in like a taxable account and you have 18 years of capital gains appreciation, you're going to get pounded by taxes when you have to sell it. But the beauty of the 529 is at least you're not going to have to pay federal income tax if you use it for qualified educational expenses, and depending on your state income taxes, because those things stack up on each other, all right? I live in Virginia. If I sell a stock at a short-term capital gain, I pay 22% federal tax rates, and I pay 5.75% state tax rates. So I get freaking hammered if I do short-term capital gains. You don't want to do that, all right? That is why you would want to consider investing in one of these. However, if the 529 withdrawals are not used for higher educational expenses or elementary or secondary schools, they will be subject to state and federal income taxes and an additional 10% federal tax penalty on earnings. That's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. These plans have tax benefits, but there are downsides. If you take the money out early, or your kid doesn't go to college or whatever, and you decide to take the money out and you don't give the plan to somebody else, you might have to pay a penalty, okay? So that's kind of the downside of these plans. So it's kind of locked away, which is why, in my opinion, I'm only putting $50 a month in there so I get decent tax benefits. And I project I'll probably have $20,000, $30,000 in there by the time my kid goes to college. And if he doesn't go to college, okay, maybe I can transfer the account beneficiary to somebody else. Or worst case, I don't have a huge sum of money locked into this account, and I may have to pay the penalty, but, it's better than not getting the money at all. So there's a lot of things you need to factor in here. All right, so one of the benefits of 529s is tax-free earnings. So they said when you withdraw, if you do it for qualified expenses, you're not paying taxes. That's great. And your earnings as well, while you have the money invested in the plan, will grow over time tax-free. That's huge, okay? Because every year mutual funds will have capital gains and whatever, and they'll pass those on to you, the investor. So every freaking year, if you're invested in a taxable account, you're going to get a tax bill from your broker. But if you put it in a 529 plan, well, you're not going to be paying many tax or any taxes at all while it grows over time. But if you want a more detailed explanation, you can consult your tax advisor, okay? I'm just a YouTuber, even though I'm a CPA, but I'm not your tax advisor, all right? But that's beautiful. So withdrawals, no taxes, federal, maybe state, tax-free growth. That's huge. Huge! All right, that could be tens of thousands of dollars, depending on how much money you're putting in there you could be saving. What restrictions apply to investment? Before you invest in a 529 plan, you should read the plan's offering circular. Yes, if you want to start saving for your kids' college, $50 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever, you need to read everything about the plan and understand what you're doing with your money. Because you don't want to lock all your money in there and then, oh, I have to pay a penalty? My kid didn't go to college? What? You need to know that stuff, okay? Read the frickin' plan's offering circular. Investments. Educational savings plans have certain preset investment options. It is not permitted to freely switch among the options. Under current tax law, an account holder is only permitted to change his or her investment option twice per year or when there is a change in a beneficiary. Now, I haven't encountered that yet. I'm putting my money in like a total US and a total international index fund. I mean, I don't see any restrictions in my plan, but that's what the SEC says, so I would definitely read the offering circular and make sure you don't do anything stupid. All right. Does investing in a 529 plan impact financial aid eligibility? This is something else you should consider. Investing in a 529 plan will generally impact a student's eligibility to receive need-based financial aid. Expenses may affect financial aids for your students' elementary or secondary school tuition. Now look, since it seems like these plans may affect your eligibility for need-based financial aid, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be saving money for your kid's college, okay? Because even if your kid, let's say you don't save anything, and your kid qualifies for a little bit of financial aid, well, they're probably not going to have enough money to pay all their tuition, room and board, all that crap, okay? So you want to be sure, and screw the needs-based financial aid. You want to be sure your kid has enough money to not go in massive student loan debt, and hopefully they're getting a good degree. So the best thing you can do is say, screw the needs-based financial aid. If I wanted to live my life always depending on financial aid from the government, I wouldn't work a lot. I would just kind of smooch off and collect welfare benefits or whatever. But you can't let potential government benefits in the future impact your decision to save now. I don't care, okay? I'm going to save money for my kid's college because I don't want him to go in massive student loan debt. Aren't I a hero? Aren't I a great guy? All right. But you need to consider that. If you're planning on needs-based financial aid and you start saving, well, that's it. So where can I find more information? So if you go to Google and you type in Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC 529 plans, you can pull up this document. I copied and pasted this from the internet. But you can pull up this document and read it over. And then you can go read your plan, your state-specific plan, see what benefits they offer. You need to go do your own research. I just kind of gave you an introductory or intro to kind of what 529 plans are. They're all about taxes, tax advantages. You're saving for your kid's college, and you're getting tax advantages when you do that. That's the only reason you would use one, all right? So that's a nice intro. You need to do your due diligence and your research, but hopefully I kind of clarified kind of what these things are. And I really, really hope that if you have a young child or children or a newborn, you should probably start saving even a little bit every month. As a matter of fact, I'm going to divulge to you my massive savings balance for my child. Are you ready? Okay. So I've been investing in this plan even before he was born because I'm pretty sure you can change the beneficiary. So I had my wife as a beneficiary, but I'm going to change the beneficiary to my child once he gets a social security number. So I'm just putting $50 a month, and I've been doing it for a couple months, and I already have $374 saved for my child's future, and he's 0 years old, okay? That's how you build wealth. That's how you save, ladies and gentlemen. Slowly but surely, all right? Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you liked the video. I hope you found it informative. Please like, subscribe, buy my book, Stop Being a Broke Loser. Tell your friends about me, and y'all have a wonderful, delicious, superstitious day.